I am Pastor Miah from St. Louis, Missouri, and the collective yesterday and today, this weekend, was phenomenal. I gained a lot of wisdom from giants in the industry. I'm just talking about the publishing and what we need to know on the business side. I thought that was a really big thing that artists and musicians need to know, just how to handle your business affairs as well as how to conduct music ministry to a place where you can be greater than what you've been, just a place of stretching. We've been stretched this weekend at the collective, and I can say that my capacity has increased from this weekend and from those that were teaching, and just the panel and everything. It was great. If you missed it, you need to plan to be there next year or whenever they do it again. But Absolutely. It was great. I learned a lot. On both sides. It's always good when you can learn ministry and business, because a lot of times at conferences and things, we push big on ministry, but we forget about the business side. And the business side is how you pay your bills.
Talk to me.
So,
say a word. That was a word, right? Now. You need to repeat that.
Got to make sure that your affairs are in order. So I applaud Trent and Brittany and his team and everybody that worked to plan the collective on being balanced and making sure that you got the best experience and the best group of knowledge or wisdom that you can get to just wholly just, be better.
Absolutely.
So
great. With that being said, also knowing that you are a pastor, I heard that Trent Phillips, when he was speaking the other day, he was talking about balance. And knowing you are a pastor, that means that you are more than just a pastor, because a pastor has many roles and many hats that they play. They're mentor, sister, mother to some, to all, spiritual mother, because you are over a flock, meaning that blood is on your hands. That's a big responsibility. Seriously. That's a big responsibility. So how do you balance out, or even find a way to balance out the challenge between family, friends, church, ministry, even as a psalmist, because we were able to experience your worship seriously there, and I'm a crybaby, you guys, so I cried. I was like, oh, my makeup not messed up. Yeah. So, how do you balance that out?
It's just really where you are mentally as a person, even as a pastor, just prioritizing. You have to be all these things because that's who God called you to be, but I always put in the forefront, these are God's people. Right. And so he understands that I'm just here doing the work that you want me to do, but I'm not going to take ownership to the point where it pushes me away from being all of Miah and all that God has in my life right now. So I make sure I take time out for family. I take time out for myself. And I'm big on empowering people to live a life of faith and victory. You have the same access and the same grace that I have. You don't need me all the time to get to God. But if I give you the equipment that I use that I know works, then you can get there on your own. So then it cuts back on my plate, and I can be me, and I can still be the psalmist. I can be with my family. I can do the things that I like to do, so that I'm not completely consumed with ministry. You have to create balance, and you have to be intentional about it. Otherwise, you'll kind of get overwhelmed and overworked. And there's nothing wrong with being balanced. It's required. Otherwise, you'll be burnt out immediately. And so to prevent that, just be intentional about it. And so that's what I do. I make sure that I spend time in worship, because I'm the type of preacher, pastor, that I have to hear before I can preach. I can't study to preach. I have to hear to preach. And so in order to hear, you got to be in the presence. And so I make sure I spend time in the presence of God, and I don't lose that element of who I am. The worshiper that I have been created to be is essential to the preacher that I am in this next chapter. So one doesn't work without the other. So that is why it's automatic. That's how we got there today. We had an awesome worship encounter. We were doing a demonstration today with musicians and singers, and we just kind of went from demonstration to a quick shift to We just we had a demonstration of his glory. That is good. That is exactly what we had, and it was a quick move. It was a quick drop, and I thought that it was powerful, and it was packed, and it was short time. It was, and that showed us we don't have to take 2 hours to get to God, but if you have a relationship and you spend time with him, you can get there quick.
Honestly felt that it was God like sealing his approval on it, because I mean, if you think about it, you had all these master sessions the first day, right? All that download of information, which is good information. Then the next day we come back, we break it up in different sections, and we have another download of information. But then to seal the information, God said, you know what, I'm just gonna make my presence known. It's here, but I'm gonna make it known. And that's the way I looked at it, and it was a powerful moment, because this whole experience here has been powerful, because he has allowed, Trent Phillips has actually created platforms for upcoming artists, for established artists, and even filmmakers. He have brought in songwriters. I mean,
people that we would, I sent him a message as I was just walking out here. I told him I celebrate him and his team, because what he did was he afforded many people the opportunity to become in close proximity to people that they look up to, but they would have never had the opportunity to, because it's hard to get to Fred Jerkins and Michelle Williams and everybody else that came through, but he allowed us to be able to tangibly reach out and touch these people and ask questions and get tips and get wisdom. And so I just thought that was so empowering and so phenomenal. And then God comes in and he just seals it. He says, I approve what y'all have experienced. I'm locking it in. I'm making sure, like, this moment in my presence is not just allowing you to just have an encounter, but I'm saturating what you've learned, embedding it into your DNA. And that's I believe why it was just so quick and so powerful. It was just like an instant response. And who doesn't want an instant response from God? I prefer those. Not the ones that have to tear it. Get me quick, God.
Come on, quick praise. Yes. Put a praise on it.
Come on. But it was great. I'm overwhelmed. It's just great. You feel good when you leave the collective. You feel empowered, like I gotta go do something. But not just something, but something different. Like, I've mastered this level, but now I have some information and some wisdom that I gain that can take me to the next level. So now what am I gonna do? Like, I'm leaving, like, what am I gonna do now? What can I take from this that's gonna push my ministry forward? Like, what am I, what's next for you? You know what I mean? I think it puts us in a great position to go forth and do something that you've never done, and experience and tap into something inside of you that you might not have known was there had you not been exposed.
I really do feel that this conference was a answered prayer for some. It was solutions for some, because like I said, all of the wealth of knowledge that was actually portrayed in this particular conference, it was much needed. But we do got to come to an end. So we want to thank the pastor for coming through and blessing us. Yes. Y'all, she came strong. She came strong with that word. That oil. That oil she was just talking about. Well, this the real oil, okay? All right. But it was our pleasure. Thank you so much for coming through, Pastor White. And if you're ever in Missouri, hey, look her up. Stop by. Yes.
Look me up. It's 5869 Bartmer, or you can just look me up on all social media at miahwhite.com. That's MIAHWHITE.
All right.
Get everything you need.
Everything, huh? That you need. All right, it was our pleasure. This is your girl, Camille Elise, and we look forward to seeing you next year at the Collective. We're out.